I'm Felicia,
And I'm Ian.
and we are the Paranormal Lovers.
Hello, paranormal dudes, dudettes, and dudays. Welcome back to another episode of the Paranormal Lovers.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Welcome back to another week. Thanks for joining us. Sorry about my voice.
Yeah, we're a little under the weather.
Everybody's a little under the weather. Patty has COVID.
Yay.
Yay. This is like the second or third time she's had COVID, and she
Yeah.
seems fine.
She's like super energetic
Yeah, she just like wants
for a
to,
COVID person.
She just like wants to do stuff, and it like sucks because like we can't go anywhere, like to the mall or the climbing gym or anything because she has COVID.
Yep.
But we can't go out and go hiking or go walk around the lake because it's raining.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck.
Yeah, we got sucky weather. We got sickness going on.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm getting hit with the flu. So
Yeah.
yay.
You probably got the Rona.
Well, I've tested twice and I come back negative, but I'll test again Monday.
Right.
And see what it comes. I probably got the Rona.
I'd give it a little while. It takes like a week.
Well, I tested
Gestate.
Thursday. I take her to the doctor Thursday. I tested Thursday, and then I tested today. That doctor lady said 4 days. You can test after 4 days to see if it's negative.
Right.
Well, mine's been negative twice, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Oh well. All right. Episode 56.
What'd you love about this week?
Not my child getting COVID and staying home for 2 days, even though we got along fine.
I like your merch that you put out this week.
You like my merch?
That was cool. I like it.
Yeah, you guys head on over to the paranormallovers.threadless.com and check out the new merch I put out. We're having a sale until the 31st, which will be today when this comes out. All t-shirts $14, 30% off all other apparel, and everything else on sale.
We got like a lovers Valentine's Day collection going on.
We got a Paranormal Lovers Valentine's Day collection, the new artwork that I did last week, and then there's also original artwork collection of Ian's artwork. You guys can get prints and stuff, so if you want some of Ian's artwork, grab some of that, and you can have some original artwork by Ian Lindsay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. What'd you love about this week?
Not much.
Right. Right. It's just kind of a...
I plugged one of my tires for the
listen,
fourth time, and like it stuck this time because I used Windex and was like psh, 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 psh.
The fact that you bubbles. Actually got this to plug and stay for the amount of time that it has, considering that you were literally filling up your tire every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, it was bad, guys.
Like, yeah.
I thought it was a valve stem, and me and Patty went out there, and I was like, okay, I'm going to spray it. Look for bubbles. I sprayed it with Windex, and I'm looking at the valve stem. I'm like, I don't know. I don't see anything. And Patty goes, Dada, there's this huge patch of bubbles over here. I was like, oh yeah. That's it. So I got my tire fixed.
That's a plus. I do want to say real quick, now that I'm thinking about it, our condolences go out to the family of Herbert Cowboy Coward.
Yeah.
Local legend, local celebrity. He played in Deliverance.
Yeah,
if anybody's ever seen that with Burt Reynolds.
Y'all ever seen Deliverance? The guy that said
he said he sure does got a pretty mouth. And make you squeal like a little pig.
Yeah.
He is the Toothless Man.
Yeah.
He was a local legend. He died in a car accident this week, along with his girlfriend, their dog, and their squirrel.
He lived around here, and he kept squirrels.
Yeah, we called him the Squirrel Man because he always had a pet squirrel.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
He'd go to the store with it. Had in his pocket, usually.
Yeah. And he was a good feller, and it's really sad, and I feel bad for the kid that got in the accident.
Yeah, I feel bad for him too.
Because they said there was no distraction, there was no speed involved. He just pulled out in front of him and he got hit and he died. But to be the kid that killed Cowboy, like, that's gonna traumatize that kid.
Yeah, well,
But our condolences
I'm
go
sure he
out to
feels
everybody
bad.
involved in that. So
Yeah.
he was a nice old feller. I'd known him for a long time.
Yeah.
He's a good feller. All right. Well, on to tragic shit to tragic shit. This is gonna be real fun.
What you got for us this week?
Um, we're going to a cult. Now
Yay.
back to cults, and we are looking at, y'all. Forgive me. There are so many Japanese words in this.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Most of them I think I can pronounce, but some of them had like the little marks above the vowels and stuff, and I've never been good with those.
You're right.
Regardless, so if I get it wrong, I apologize, but I'm trying my best.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a pretty terrible cult. Content warning: we are going to be discussing the murder of children, biological warfare, and terrorism.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we will be covering terrorist attacks that happened in Japan in the 90s. So if any of that is too much for you, we understand. You can take a break and we'll see you next week
Right.
because it's going to be rough.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at Aum Shinrikyo, who is known today by the name Aleph. It was founded in 1987 by Shoko Asahara and is responsible for some of the worst terrorist attacks in Japanese history.
Hmm.
Shoko was born Chizuo Matsumoto on March 2nd, 1955. He was born in Kumamoto Prefecture as the fourth son of a poor map making family.
Hmm.
He lived with his family until he was 6 when it became apparent that the infantile glaucoma he had been born with had made him blind.
Oh, that's gotta suck.
At least blind enough that he could not help with the family business and was sent to live at a boarding school for the blind.
Hmm.
He would never live with his family again.
Dang.
So it's sad, but also like he was the fourth, I think, of 7 kids.
Right.
So like, fortunately, if you can't work and help the family bring in money, they can't afford to take care of you.
Right.
Thankfully, they had places he could go.
Yeah.
I say blind enough because while he was completely blind in his left eye, he was only partially blind in his right eye. This left him with more sight than most of the other kids at the school, so he used that to his advantage. He would charge other students to direct them to the local candy store. Yeah, he was a hustler, but also kind of a dick.
Right.
Maybe it was the kids who didn't need his help or kids who simply said no who saw his bad side. While some of the kids did like him, he was known for being a bully. He would beat up kids and extort them for money.
Hmm.
He was a little shit.
Right.
As he grew into his teenage years, he began fantasizing about, quote, ruling a kingdom of robots with total power, end quote.
Gangnam style.
That's not even the right fucking country. Goddamn. He also told his classmates that he wanted to be Prime Minister of Japan. So it should come as no surprise that when he graduated from the school in 1973, he applied to Tokyo University to study politics, but was rejected.
Hmm.
So he pivoted. He studied acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine, which was, quote, common careers for the blind in Japan, end quote.
Hmm.
Mats,
That's cool, I guess.
yeah, I mean, I guess it is. It's like
I like some acupuncture.
at least you know that there's like a sect of work you can go into. I mean, honestly though, I feel like you can go into any thing. Well, not
Sure.
maybe not any kind of work. You don't want to work with like heavy equipment and stuff if you're
Or
blind.
like flying a plane.
Yeah, no.
Although, like nowadays, like heck, the pilots in commercial flights don't really do nothing but push buttons.
That's true, but you still have to have a human in there that can see
Sure.
in the event one of those buttons breaks.
Brakes, yeah.
Because it's
Doesn't do-
happened.
Doesn't do what you want it to do.
Because it's happened, and we'll cover that case one day. All right. Matsumoto opened his own shop outside of Tokyo, got married, and in 1978 had the first of 6 kids with his wife.
Dang.
They had 6 kids.
That's crazy. I don't see how people can have that many kids.
I can't
God.
like more power to you if you can go for it, but
No wonder they wind up crazy.
right. In 1981, he was caught and charged with, quote, practicing pharmacy without a license and selling unregulated drugs, end quote.
Uh-oh.
He was fined what would be about 2,000 US dollars in 2023. So that wasn't a lot.
Right.
It was around this time Matsumoto got into studying all kinds of religions. Quote, he dedicated his free time to the study of various religious concepts, starting with Chinese astrology and Taoism,
Yep.
Taoism, Taoism.
Yeah, Taoism.
Later, Ashara practiced Western esotericism, yoga, meditation, esoteric Buddhism, and esoteric Christianity. Matsumoto let his hair and beard grow and adopted the name Shoko Asahara. Shoko meaning, quote, an offering of incense, end quote, in Japanese, and Ashara being an aristocratic surname, unlike the plebeian surname Matsumoto, end quote. I like the word plebeian. That's one of my
Yeah.
favorite words. But, like, I'm sorry, I like Matsumoto. I think
Right.
it's a cool last name. Matsumoto. Matsumoto.
Sure.
And Ashara is, like, pretty, I guess, but, like, I don't know. Okay, excuse me. Hang on. I got a burp. I do feel like I'm getting warm.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting warmer,
Running a temperature.
which I am like in a blanket, but that's because I feel cold. So,
Yeah.
all right. Ashara quickly fancied himself a friend of Tenzin Gyatso, the 14th Dalai Lama. I hope I said his name right. If not, I'm so sorry, Sir Dalai Lama. Once he started making regular pilgrimage to India in 1984. Quote, Ashara later claimed to his followers that he managed to achieve enlightenment, meet Shiva, and was given, quote unquote, a special mission to preach the, quote unquote, real Buddhism in Japan. The Dalai
Hmm.
Lama later distanced himself from Ashara and said that he had met a, quote unquote, strange Japanese man but denied having any significant relationship with him, end quote. He's like, yeah, I met this little strange Japanese fellow this one time, but he was a little weird. So I don't know him. We don't know him.
Right. We're acquaintances.
For anybody that's into Mean Girls, like, he doesn't even go here. Like, Ashara moved back to Japan permanently in 1987. I was 1 and you were 6.
Nice.
I'm not sure where his family was, like his wife and kids, or what happened to him. I didn't find much information about them,
Hmm.
and I don't think they had anything to do with the cult. So, like, I'm
Right.
okay with that. Because if they didn't, then they should just be left alone and not drag through shit because of who their dad was.
Sure.
Ashara began calling himself Sonshi, meaning guru. He began trying to spread pamphlets he had self publicized, claiming that he had mastered meditation so well that he could levitate with his mind.
Not a guru.
A guru. He was a guru. Listen, unless it's Adam Sandler, it's not a guru.
Right.
You don't remember that movie? Remember? It was a good movie. It was stupid, but it was a good movie. Other than a few Japanese occult publications, they did not receive much publicity. Ashara founded Aum Shinrikyo. Yeah, we're going to go with that.
Sure.
Meaning Aum Immortal Mountain Wizard Association.
Nice. That sounds dope as hell.
That's actually the first time I've literally said that out loud. I've read it several times, wrote it twice.
I'm gonna start calling myself a mountain wizard.
An immortal mountain wizard. Yeah, he founded that in 1987 out of his small 1-bedroom apartment in Tokyo's Shibuya.
Start like a beard oil
It's
company.
Shibuya.
I'll start a beard oil company called Mountain Wizard. Immortal mountain wizard.
Immortal Mountain Wizard Beardle. That would be cool. Oh, I just had a
Nobody steal that.
TM. That's what all the other podcasts does. It works. It's legal. Yeah. No, that's funny. Now I'm see an Immortal Mountain Wizard shirt in our future. Uh, out of his small one-bedroom apartment in Tokyo's Shibuya ward. I'm sorry. That
Shibuya.
is probably not how it's pronounced. That's how my brain's reading it, and I'm like,
Cyborgs in her brain.
Shibuya. Cyborg's always in my brain. At its inception, it was simply yoga and meditation, a yoga and meditation, quote unquote, religion for the elite. It attracted many young elite university graduates, and in 1989 was officially recognized as a religionous religious organization. There was no crime in the beginning, at least no known violent crimes. Yes, it was a controversial group, but as any new thing would be in such traditional cultures. But it was
Sure.
harmless enough. Ashara would publish cartoons and comics using manga and anime to spread the message of his religion.
Oh, that's weird.
Right. Not, I mean, it is, but like the Children of God did the same thing
Right.
with like comic strips and stuff. And
Sure.
I'm like, they were painting like they were drawing like naked people and shit in there. So
Right.
He published several magazines and seemed to target, quote, the more shrewd Japanese who were not attracted to boring, purely traditional sermons, end quote. And then there's the quote unquote salvation plan. Ashara claimed that following this plan could cure physical, and mental illnesses and help people find their life's purpose. But you got to work for it. First, you have to get your physical health in order. Valid. Eat healthier, quit smoking, drinking, start working out, stuff like that. Okay, that's not too bad.
Right.
We should be taking care of our bodies. It's the only one we get.
Sure.
For now. Next, improve your intelligence and thinking. So pretty much learn. Just learn. Learn all you can.
Right.
But I'm guessing with the next part of his plan, he wants you to get smarter by like reading instructional books because to me that's boring. I love reading books, just not instructional ones.
Mm-hmm.
But you must finally give up all the fun things.
Yeah, no. That's where I draw the line.
On the goal of fulfilling your life's purpose. No fun things.
No.
No fun things. Can do no fun things. To aid the plan, you are allowed to study Pali Sutras. This is a collection of observations that are full of meaning using very few words. Pali is, quote, a Middle Indo-Aryan liturgical. That's what it is. Language on the Indian subcontinent. It is widely studied because it is the language of the Buddhist Pali Canon or Tipitaka, as well as the sacred language of Theravada Buddhism, end quote. That was a lot of religions. I don't know.
Right.
While it was seen as an elite religion, there was a decent variety of occupations within the ranks of members. From Tokyo Metro Police to bureaucrats and even members of, I should have looked this up because every time I read it, I'm like, this sounds cool. What is it? And even members of the Japanese Self-Defense Forces. The fuck is that?
It's kind of like our cops, I think.
Well, they have Tokyo Metro Police.
Right.
So I wonder if it's like, I wonder if they're like,
it's. I want to say it's like Britain, where it's like police before the police.
yeah, where they don't have like weapons and stuff. They're there to like de-escalate.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. To quote authors Davis Kaplan and Andrew Marsh from their book The Cult at the End of the World, published in 1996, quote, initiation rituals often involve the use of, shocker, hallucinogens such as LSD. Religious practices often involve extremely ascetic practices.
Aesthetic.
ascetic, ascetic, ascetic.
Ascetic.
Phonetically, how it sounds. Practices claimed to be yoga. These included everything from renunciant, being hung upside down or
Ugh.
given shock therapy, end quote. So if you're like me and you didn't know the meaning of ascetics and renunciants, I didn't know. I got you. From Merriam-Webster.com, Lucy from Whining Crimes. I think Miriam's like her side piece.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure because I'm pretty sure Encyclopedia Britannica is a boyfriend. But anyways, the definition of ascetics is quote practicing strict self denial as a measure of personal and especially spiritual discipline, end quote.
So he was giving him the ultra violence, basically.
Ultra violent.
Yeah. You never seen Clockwork Orange?
It's been a long fucking time.
That's what they did in there. They'd set him up in a chair and like put him on headphones and like put LSD in their eyes and make them watch like good things and then bad things and then like it brainwash them.
Well, this is more like hang on. Let me go back up and read this paragraph again real quick because my brain.
Can you imagine hanging upside down though, like that? Like, oh man,
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
freaking out.
Given yoga, like this is yoga, we're gonna hang you upside down.
I mean, yoga would be fine. Like that would probably feel good
Well,
on
I'm
LSD.
saying that
But
this is what they're saying. Like this is a special yoga. We're gonna hang you by your toes, or meditate while we introduce 10,000 volts of electricity through your brain. It's fine.
sure,
Sure, sure. I'll get right on that.
that was how electro was created.
And renunciant is quote unquote one who renounces. So I'm not sure what they were renouncing. Maybe they were like trying to
Just
get
self.
them to renounce their old religion. Maybe the renunciant was renouncing the teachings of Ashara. But it would seem that there was some physical as well as mental torture for the members.
Sure.
In the 80s, the
Ugh.
cult started. What?
So,
What was wrong with the 80s?
torture in the 80s.
This is true. We sorry, I heard noises. We were both born in the 80s. It's fine. In the late 80s, the cult started getting bad PR. Shocker. They were rumors of deception, kidnapping, theft, and murder, allegedly, according to Kaplan and Marshall. I need to look up his name again. Pretty sure it's Chewbacca out there thumping around.
Oh yeah.
The group commonly took patients into its hospitals and then allegedly, according to Kaplan and Marshall, I should have double checked that. Quote, the group commonly took patients into its hospitals and then forced them to pay exorbitant medical bills, end quote.
Hmm.
One of the first major crimes that was known to have committed was the Sakamoto family murders in 1989. Unfortunately, the bodies were not discovered until a member confessed to their locations in 1994. 33-year-old Tatsumi Sakamoto recorded an interview with TBS, Tokyo Broadcasting System Television. Not sure if that's the same TBS we watch. In 1989, talking about the work he as a lawyer was taking against although there was a law, something, I don't remember what it was, but there was something in place where you're not supposed to out your sources.
Mm-hmm.
Someone at the station decided it would be a good idea to show the footage to the cult members.
What the hell?
Because, yeah, that's the thing with cults, man. They get their little fingers into facets of everything around you, and you can't get away from them. They're everywhere.
Right.
TBS was then pressured by the cult members to not air the footage. Then, on November 3rd, 1989, several members made their first attempt on Sakamoto's life. They had planned to kidnap him using potassium chloride from Yokohama's Shinkansen train station. But here's the thing about some cults, they don't always pay attention to secular things like holidays. It was Culture Day, and Sakamoto was at home sleeping with his family because everything's closed. Idiots. This is where a warning comes in. As part of the story includes the murder of a child. So if you can't handle that, skip ahead a couple minutes. It's fine because I'm not happy about having to talk about it.
Right.
At 3 a.m. on November 5th, the group. Wait, nope. Yep. Quote. At 3 a.m. on November 5th, the group entered Sakamoto's apartment through an unlocked door. Tatsumi Sakamoto was struck on the head with a hammer, injected with potassium chloride, and strangled. His 29-year-old wife, Satoka Sakamoto, was beaten and injected with potassium chloride. Their 14-month-old son, Tatsuhiko Sakamoto, was injected with the potassium chloride, and then his face was covered with a cloth. The remains were placed in metal drums and hidden in 3 separate rural areas in 3 different prefectures.
Jesus.
Yeah. Sorry, this guy's name is hard. It's one of those that's like TSUMI. So I'm like Tatsumi in Nagata, Satoka in Toyama, not Toyota, Toyama, and Tatsuhiko in Nagano. So in case the bodies were uncovered, police might not link the 3 incidences. Their bed sheets were burned and tools were dropped in the ocean. The victim's teeth were smashed to prevent identification.
Ah.
I just had to run through that as hard as I can. Their bodies were not found until the perpetrators revealed the locations after they were captured in connection with the 1995 Tokyo subway attack. By the time police searched the areas in which the victims were placed, their bodies were reduced to bones. In that terrible motherfucking quote.
God, that's horrible.
That is it not. That's why I was like, this is
Like
gonna
they
be.
didn't find him until it was bones.
Yeah, it was. They killed him in 1989, and they
How did
didn't find
nobody
them until
smell that?
1995, 96. So it was like 7 years. Well, because they were just like buried out in the woods somewhere in drums, and they were all separate. So it wasn't like there was 3 bodies together decomposing
Right.
out in the open somewhere. They had stuffed them in barrels, buried them in the woods, and spread
That's
them so
crazy.
far apart so that even if they did find 1 or 2 of the bodies,
They
hopefully
wouldn't link them all
connect
together.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although you're looking at all 3 bodies having potassium chloride and all 3 bodies being buried in drums. A little suspicious.
Yeah. Same killer.
Yeah. Which all of this made me wonder. You said, reduced to bones. Do they have a Japanese equivalent to bones?
I don't know.
Like, is there
Probably.
some little pretty Japanese lady that like gets so excited when somebody brings her bones? Bones. Who's like a little bit on the spectrum? Well,
Right.
a lot on the spectrum. Brenham's
Probably
all
a
over the
lot.
spectrum. But now to get away from that terrible mess to yet another terrible mess. So yeah, that one, nobody knew about that until after their most infamous terrorist attack, which we won't talk about until.
So that was the TV broadcast guy.
Yeah, that was the guy that was going to get on. He recorded an interview about action he was taking, an illegal case against them for something. They showed the video to the cult members. The cult members murdered him and his family.
Right.
Terrible shit.
It's horrible.
Horrible shit. And then they didn't find out about their deaths until or they didn't find their bodies until 7 years later because nobody connected them to
Right.
Either that or, they had Tokyo Metro Police and shit
paying them
in their pockets in their cult, so why would they?
Right.
Now, to get away from that terrible mess to yet another terrible mess, I know that we have a couple of listeners from Asian countries. I think we've had one from Tokyo.
Nice.
And one from Bangkok in China. Bangkok's in China, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. I think geography is not my strong suit. But Hopefully, we'll have more in the future. So, if anybody now or in the future is listening to this was not that long ago.
Yeah.
So, if you were personally affected by this attack or any attack like it, I understand. If you want to skip all of this, we'll see you next week for the rest of Blackbeard.
Yeah. Come listen to some
Um,
pirates.
there's no shame in not wanting to relive that kind of trauma.
For sure.
So, whether it's you were affected by this or you were affected by some sort of biological attack, period,
We are
anthrax, whatever.
sorry that you guys had to go through that.
Yeah, like I feel sorry for anybody
If
that
you're
had
listening.
to deal with this cult. Honestly, all cults, but like
For sure.
this one was bad. This one was really, really bad, and a lot of people got hurt.
Right.
A lot of people got hurt.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, while this attack happened before the infamous Tokyo attacks, it again was not tied to the cult until after Tokyo. This attack was an assassination attempt by the cult on 3 judges who were set to rule against in a lawsuit over property. It was also a test run for the sarin that the cult had been manufacturing.
Oh, Jesus.
It doesn't hurt that they were also angry at the residents of Matsumoto, as 70% of them had signed a petition to stop from setting up an office and factory in their city. I believe that this is why they had originally planned to attack the courthouse, but they showed up after the building was closed. Not sure why these guys can't get their dates and times together. Like, it wouldn't hurt to know when the best time for your attack is.
Sure.
They're like, you know what? We should attack that courthouse on Friday. Yeah. Can we go after like 5:30? It's like all you have to do is look on your phone and go, you know what? Or better yet, it was the 90s. Just pick up a phone,
Yeah.
a landline. That's all we had. Be like, hey, what time y'all close?
Sure.
Nah, idiots. So again, they pivot. They decide to target the apartment building where the judges live. On June 27th, 1994, so I was 8, you were 13.
Yeah.
It's around the time it was um before you broke your leg.
Yeah.
On June 27th, 1994, at 10:40 p.m., a refrigerated truck that was parked nearby began releasing a cloud of aerosol sarin into the neighborhood. The truck had been converted to include, quote, a heating contraption that had been specifically designed to turn 12 liters or a little over 3 gallons of liquid sarin into an aerosol and fans to diffuse the aerosol into the neighborhood, end quote.
Jesus. It's
Yeah,
like some
these
12.
guys were not fucking around.
It's like some 12 monkey shit.
I'm like, these guys were not fucking around. At 11:30 p.m., the local police received notice from the EMTs that dozens of what would become hundreds in the end were being transported to the hospital.
God.
The symptoms they were all experiencing included darkened vision, nausea, and diarrhea, as well as constricted pupils. Some victims report seeing a foul smelling fog floating by. 274 people were directly affected and treated after the attack.
That's crazy.
A total of 8 people died from this attack. Quote,
Hmm.
5 residents were discovered in their apartments and 2 died in hospital immediately after admission. An 8th victim, Sumiko Kono, remained in a coma for 14 years and died in 2008, end quote.
Wow.
Humans were not the only ones affected by the attack. Quote, the day after the attack, dead fish were found in a pond near the scene. The bodies of dogs, birds, and a large number of caterpillars were found in the area. Grass and trees had withered, and the trees' leaves had discolored. Nearly all of the casualties had been discovered within a radius of 150 meters, or about 495 feet from the center near the pond. People near open windows or in air conditioned rooms had been exposed to the aerosol. Forensic investigation using gas chromatography mass spectrometry, that's a lot of big words, revealed that the poison was the nerve agent sarin, end quote. Oh,
Damn. Some nasty shit.
yeah. So they killed 8 people, 274 people got hurt. Not to mention all of the birds, the dogs, probably cats and rats and whatever else.
Sure.
Butterflies, like whatever else creatures lived in that area. Like, the fuck?
That's crazy.
Oh, excuse me, guys. Sorry. Unfortunately, even with the tip that told the police that this attack was a test and implored them to think about what might happen in an enclosed space versus an open area outside, police focused on the wrong person, as they often do.
Yeah.
They set their sights on Yoshi Yoki Kona.
Yoshi.
It's Yoshioki, which I'm like, Yoshioki. I like that name. That's a cool name. Yoshi. The woman that was in the coma, that was his wife.
Hmm.
Even with that information, the police decided it must have been him due to a large amount of pesticide he kept in his home. This is even after once it was proven that sarin cannot be manufactured using pesticides,
Right.
they still went after him.
Hmm.
He received all kinds of hate from the public after he was named a suspect. This included hate mail, death threats, and legal pressure. I would be curious to know what his thoughts are on all of this.
Right.
Because like he received all this hate mail, people were like threatening to kill him, and like, don't send people death threats, don't send people hate mail, but I can understand wanting to be pissed off after a terrorist attack.
Right.
We all were pissed off after 9/11.
Right.
you know we weren't pissed off enough to like go out and start attacking Muslims, but
I mean, some
some
people
some
were
assholes were.
like,
But like, I can understand that anger and wanting justice, but like, don't.
yeah,
um
life's too short to hate.
I mean, if somebody hurt my child, there would be no end to my hatred for them. It would never stop.
Sure.
Never stop. But at the same time, like,
If you didn't know who it was, though.
you would see a side of me you would not want to see,
Right.
because I would never stop until I found out the person and put them 6 feet under my damn self.
Yeah.
Anyways, listen, I don't know my family. They've threatened to do it. Um, After was tied to the attack and the truth came out, the police department, as well as the media, including newspapers who didn't even attack him, publicly apologized.
Right.
Which I'm like, that's nice. Hardly ever happens when this like that around here, unless somebody's been exonerated, like in prison for years.
I know they just keep going with the lies.
Yeah. Sadly, again, we know Kona's wife did pass away in '08. She did wake up from her coma, but she was never able to talk or move again. And
Dang.
she stayed in a vegetative state until she died in 2008. And that is where I'm going to start for part one, because holy shit.
Wow.
Yeah, that's part one. There
Yeah.
are more crimes. There's their most infamous crime, the Tokyo subway attack, which I
Right.
vaguely remember as a child. Happened in 1994. I was like 8, so I wasn't super worried about the news, but
Yeah.
and we'll go over the trial and their sentence from the trial. So what do you think, Bill?
It's crazy.
It's scary.
It is scary.
And like, it's not it, yet again,
How
it's not gone.
how the hell did they like buy a factory and make sarin gas in it?
I don't know, man. Well, it's because of it was a elite religion, or a religion for the elite. So all these people that were joining his religion were like kids of bureaucrats,
And
and
I guess it was the 90s, so you couldn't really like
it was the 90s.
track stuff as well as now.
No, not as well as you could now. No. Um, but yeah, and like, when you have a member join and it's like the prime minister's son, who the fuck's gonna say anything to you about buying a building and doing some sketchy shit?
Right.
Nobody. If it's the chief of police for the Tokyo Metro Police,
Right.
who's gonna say something?
Yeah.
Nobody. Um, yeah, I've been wanting to do this one for a while. Like I said, I vaguely remember the Tokyo attack
Mm-hmm.
when it happened. Um, yeah, it's gonna get worse.
I don't think I remember it at all, but
Well, you would have been 14, shortly after, like, the year after your leg got broke.
Right.
Um, no, you
That's-
would have been 13, so it would have been the year your leg
It's a
got
couple
broke.
of years after 9/11 too, so it's like,
Oh no, wait, no, this was 1995 when Tokyo happened, so I would have
oh,
been
okay.
9. You would
So
have been 14.
yeah,
You lived here,
yeah,
so I'm sure you were. I'm sure you had other stuff. You were not worried about what was going on the news. I bet your
no,
parents remember though.
probably.
I do
I
bet your
should ask
parents
him about it.
remember for sure. I bet my dad remembers too. But all right, well, that was rough. Next week we got what, part 3 of Blackbeard?
Yeah,
Woo! I'm so
Yar.
excited. Yar. Love me some fucking pirates. Hopefully I won't feel like death next week.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all can see my face keeps contorting. I'm not feeling good. Body aches ain't no joke.
Yeah, we're both kind of under the weather.
So thanks for joining us today. Please follow us on Instagram and YouTube by searching for the Paranormal Lovers in the search bar. Follow us on your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a 5-star rating and a review. And head on over to the paranormallovers.threadless.com. Check out our new merch and the sale that ends today, January 31st. Use the last day to get $14 t-shirts, 30% off other apparel, and everything else on sale. Boo, 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 boo. Sorry, guys. I'm out of it.
Good job, baby. I couldn't rattle that off.
Yeah. What can I say? I'm good like that. I'm not as good as Ash Kelly and her, like, keep it weird but not so weird that she rattles off
Yeah.
at the end of their episodes, but it is what it is. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. We love you.
Thank you,
Stay
guys.
safe out there. Stay warm, dry. This weather's been crazy all across the country.
It
We
has.
will see you guys in February.
Yep.
February. A leap year nonetheless. All right, we'll see you guys next year.
See you
next
guys.
year? Next month.
Next
Next
month.
week?
Next week.
Bye.
Bye.